Hi everyone, my name is Eric, and in this review I will be going over the Walknbook by iRULU. This is a little 10-inch hybrid laptop slash tablet with Windows 10 operating system. I included a link in the description down below where you can find one for the best price. Now this is my honest review. I bought this with my own money. I didn't receive any kind of discount and I wasn't paid to give a positive review, so I can speak freely and point out the good and the bad about this computer. But overall, I was really impressed with the performance and everything this laptop offers for such a small price. I will also provide some tips on keeping your computer in good health in case you already have this one or if you're thinking about getting one. If you do find this video helpful, I always appreciate those thumbs up. Now this model is around 140, 150 bucks, but there's also a slightly upgraded model that comes with a hinge in the back instead of a fold-up stand like this one, and that will run about an extra $40. For the price, it really isn't fair to compare this one to other brands like Microsoft Surface Pro or the Apple iPad. This is one of the lowest priced laptops that are actually worth using. I would recommend this for anyone who's looking for an affordable touchscreen laptop that is portable and can also be used as a tablet. Now, if you're looking to play graphic intensive games on high settings, then you're probably going to be looking at laptops that are 4 times the price of this one, or if you're planning on doing any kind of video editing. Now, other than gaming and video editing, this computer should be able to handle most of the things that you're going to want to do, like watching HD movies, either streaming them online or from the internal memory, things like surfing the web, and Microsoft Office products, and even Photoshop. One of the big pros is that it comes with an Intel Bay Trail quad-core processor running up to 1.83 gigahertz and a Windows 10 operating system. So if you want to do actual work, like work on Word documents and PowerPoints, and enjoy your media, it's a good way to get the best of both worlds. The on switch is right here on top, right next to your volume buttons. Just hold it down for a couple seconds and it'll load up in less than a minute. To keep your startup time as quick as possible, there are a couple things you can do. First, try not to install any programs or load any media on your main internal memory. You do get 32 gigs of disk space and 2 gigs of RAM, but remember, about half of the space will be taken up by the operating system and the rest of it should be left available for any updates and just to ensure that the computer has plenty of space to run smoothly. I recommend getting a mid to high grade MicroSD card to put all of your programs, games, and media on. Now I installed a 64 gig MicroSD card with some pretty good read-write speeds, which is important to ensure the best performance of your laptop, and I'll include a link down below where you can find one that I recommend. And you can actually go all the way up to a 128 gig MicroSD card if you need the extra space. Now, unlike a lot of tablets, I really like how this one includes a USB port. It is USB 2.0, but it will work with 3.0 flash drives. Or if you have a USB 3.0 external hard drive that you want to plug in via the USB. You also have a micro USB, a mini HDMI, and your DC port, which is where your power cord plugs into. And it just lets you guys know it only charges through the supplied power cord. You cannot charge it through the micro USB. And your headphone jack is right here up top. I really wish they put the charging port at the bottom, just like on most every other computer, because it just makes more sense. It gets in the way all the way up top, and while the upgraded model did move the charging port down some, it's still not at the bottom where it should be. But if you're using this on the go and not as your full-time computer, then you don't really have to worry much about it getting in the way, since you won't have it plugged in that much while you're using it. Another thing is the charger isn't as sturdy as I expected. Maybe I'm nitpicking, but the charger feels a little light and fragile compared to the rest of the computer. The metal tab that plugs in seems like it could easily break if it's dropped while it was plugged in or if someone tripped over the cord while it's plugged in. Now I've been using mine for a couple weeks without any problems, and the good news is that replacement chargers are pretty cheap at around $10. The battery life is what I expected. I'm getting around 5 hours during normal use and 3 hours if I'm streaming HD movies online. And I've read some reviews about the battery being dead or not lasting very long, so I'll go over a couple things to make sure your battery lasts as long as possible. And this is true for most devices that use lithium batteries. First, lithium batteries prefer to remain at around 40 to 80% charged when not in use. And also try to remember to unplug it when it does reach 100%, because leaving it plugged in while it's at 100% can really put stress on your battery. And just remember, smaller charge and discharge cycles will prolong the life of the battery as well. And once a month, you'll want to fully discharge it. The battery remaining life that you see at the very bottom right corner of your screen will start to become inaccurate after a while if you don't fully cycle it at least once a month. And make sure to fully charge it the first time before using it. Now, unfortunately, the battery isn't removable, but I haven't really had any problems with mine yet. If something does come up, I'll make sure to add an annotation in this video. I installed Chrome and Firefox, and both perform really great when opening multiple tabs. I'll open up a few websites and show you guys how it handles. So right now the screen is at about 50% brightness, and it's plenty bright, even with the bright light right above me. I'll turn it up to 100% to show you just how bright this screen can get. Opening up Chrome is really quick. And now I'll open YouTube. And just let you guys know that this is all a clear cache. So it's loading just as it would when you first use your laptop. Okay, now let's open up AOL. It's loading pretty fast, even though this site has a lot of images on this page. And now I'll load Yahoo. And last, let's get Reddit. On YouTube, I'll pull up a movie trailer and show you how fast the video loads. Now it's already loaded in HD very quickly. My internet speed is average and I get around 10 megabytes per second down, and I know a lot of that has to do with your connection speed, but this does a good job showing the performance of the graphics and how quickly it'll load the video into the system's RAM. So no lags, no buffering, colors look really good. Now scrolling around AOL, you'll see even with a lot of pictures, it's still really smooth. And that's a cat. The trackpad is nice and smooth and you can scroll with 2 fingers, which is nice. Now the screen resolution is 1280 by 800 and it's very clear, and the colors have really good saturation and are very vibrant. Text looks good and the rounded corners are very smooth and not blocky. And now I'll show you some viewing angles. And for this, I'll pull up a picture with a lot of color. So for the price, I think its display is outstanding. The colors look good, even looking at slight angles. You do lose some contrast viewing from the side at angles above 30 degrees. As you can see, moving photos around is really smooth and responsive with the touchscreen or the touchpad. And you can even use a rubber-tipped stylus pen on this screen. Now, one thing I didn't like about this screen was how easily it scratched. Now, to keep the cost low, they couldn't put Gorilla Glass on this one, but the plastic coating just isn't very scratch resistant. I accidentally tossed mine in my backpack without putting it in its case first, which was my mistake, and I got a lot of scratches on the screen. So really make it a point to keep it in its case when you're not using it. Now, as far as games go, I haven't done a whole lot of testing. I'll go ahead and test out a game on here, Hungry Shark. I've heard that Minecraft works really well, but I definitely would not load a game like War Thunder or Skyrim, or something that needs a dedicated graphics card or something that just is really intense. But let's go ahead and pull up Hungry Shark and I'll show you guys how that works on here. So pretty smooth. You know, it definitely performs on these lower end games, or on these games that don't really require a whole lot of graphics. It plays them just fine. Okay, now let's get into the speakers. This is one of the things that I disliked most about this. The sound quality is pretty terrible. And, you know, I don't know if this is just my model, but there is kind of a scratching noise that comes from the speakers. They are located in the back. You have two here and here. But there are ways around that. And the two ways you could go about it is with a Bluetooth speaker or with headphones. So I'm going to go ahead and pull up a song and let you guys listen to the speakers on the actual system. Okay, now let's go ahead and connect it via Bluetooth. Pretty easy to do and pretty quick. That's all it takes. Okay, now let's get into the keyboard. Definitely one of the things I was very impressed with. The keyboard on this one is it's really good quality. They didn't really miss anything on this keyboard. The keys have a really nice travel to them. They feel really nice. One thing that kind of tripped me up is the space. It is a lot smaller than a normal keyboard, and then you got your arrow buttons right here. So that's just going to be one thing you'll have to get used to, is the strange placement of the shift key on the right side. The shift is full size over here on your left. And then of course the trackpad's really nice. You do have the flat buttons inside the trackpad, so you know you can click. And you do have two cameras. They say that they're 2 megapixels. Not the best cameras, but they work. So if you do want to do, you know, video chat with people, if you want to if you do want to use this as a camera, you can. I'll go ahead and show you samples right there. That is the quality of this camera. Not much to say about it, but that's that. And it does do video. Another great thing about the keyboard is the magnets that hold it on are really strong. So, you know, some other tablet / laptops, the problem with them is they connect through Bluetooth, and you know they have that lag for that Bluetooth to connect, and then you know you'll have to charge the keyboard separately. But this is all powered through the computer, and it's really instant. So right when you plug it in, it's ready to go and you can start typing. There's really not much of a delay at all. And the magnet's really strong. You can actually lift it up all the way up like that. It feels really nice when it snaps in. It's really good quality on that end. The whole case on this one it does a really good job protecting it. You have the magnet in the back that holds these two pieces together. So, you know, but I guess a problem with that would be you do only have one angle right here, whereas the model that's like an extra $30 or $40, it does have that swivel. So if you want to put it at a 90-degree angle, if you want to tilt it down or tilt it further back, you can. But for me, this angle was plenty fine, and then it quickly folds up into a nice protective case, and you're ready to go. Okay, and I'll show you a close-up of the keyboard. The keyboard's really nice quality, really good markings on the keys. You do have your function, so you can you do have a lot of other, you know, play, pause, stop, fast forward, and all that. This is a really nice keyboard. It feels really nice. And that's my review on the iRULU Walknbook. Overall, I was really impressed. I really like this computer, and I do highly recommend it as long as you're not going to be playing PC games on this thing, and as long as you're not expecting this to behave like a Microsoft Surface Pro. You know, under $200, you're getting a lot of computer for the price. So If you guys do have any questions, please just leave them in the comments down below. And if you do like one of these, I included a link in the description. So thanks so much for watching. And if you found the video helpful, I appreciate those thumbs up. All right, thanks guys.